Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Avran LeFeber, and in this video we'll be reviewing the Jones Ultracraft. That's right, the super stiff hovercraft, or as they call it, Ultracraft. This board features Jones's directional cam rocker, so what you get is a setback camber through the insert packs, more rocker in the nose than in the tail. This is going to give you that load and pop of traditional camber, while you're still going to get that float and ease of entry into turns from that rocker out in the nose. This board is available in three sizes, 152, 156, and 160. I rode this board at Arapahoe Basin on an overcast day, average temps, some snow falling. There was 7+ inches everywhere. There were soft groomers. And if you knew where to look, you could get wind-loaded areas that were knee to mid-thigh deep, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. First and foremost, this board is stiff. After all, it's the Ultracraft, it's the beefier hovercraft. That's just a given. This is a stiff, free-ride powder board. You do have a slightly softer nose. A lot of that is due in part to it just being rocker more than the core profiling. Just that rocker gives it a little bit of flap out there. But pretty much from the tail to just outside the front insert, it's super stiff. There's not a lot of torsional flex. Now there are two defined flex points. One right inside the front foot and the other right outside the back. You'll really notice them when you really push into the board and you're driving it. Otherwise, for most people, if you're not on top of your A game, you're really not going to feel it. Now, when it comes to stability, sure, you get a little chatter out in the nose. That pretty much is dead by the time anything should be hitting that front insert pack. And then, it's just a super stable ride that wants to crush everything in its path. You want to just go Mach 10 into something and just ride on top of it as it pushes everything out of the way? Here you go. This board can handle it. This board's just super solid. It speeds slow or fast in rutted out, uneven, variable terrain. You don't have to worry about it. It doesn't buck you around unless it doesn't flex because you landed into a mogul field, which don't land into mogul fields. So it's just bad timing. You're gonna have to load this camber profile up aggressively to get it to activate that small rocker section in the tail to give you some spring. And it's going to take some work. But when you do, you get enough snap to get the job done. It's not mind-blowing, but you're like, hey, okay, I cleared that rock. I launched off this side hit. I did this cliff drop. You don't have to worry about it. It's got more than enough pop there to get the job done. You just have to bring your A game and really drive into that camber section to load it up. Did I butter it? Oh, hell no. No. I was smashing pow. I mean, you want to go do it? Go for it. I didn't. It's got rocker in the nose, so you got that going for you. I'm assuming heavier guys will have no problem buttering it. I didn't pow butter this thing. I slashed a lot of pow. The nice thing about this board is how stiff it is. It just cuts through anything in its path. You don't have to worry about it. It's a board that locks in. It feels gripped right underfoot, but you're driving it back from the tail in the midsection just to steer it. It's quick and nimble. To a point. I mean, if you're really trying to ankle steer it, you're going to have some issues, but you do have that 3D shaping as well as an abundance of rocker in the nose, so it really lets it roll over, and then you pretty much drive it more towards the tip than you do right outside the front foot. It's in that area in the rocker, and that's kind of how you start the drive, and then it takes over from that defined flex point of inside the front foot and off the tail. That's where you're going to get any added oomph as you push it through a turn. This thing locks in, as I said, and it just drives through everything in its path. You know that nothing is going to buck this, and it's just going to slice through it like a hot knife through butter. Who's this board for? The hard-charging powder resort carver. I won't lie, this is too much board for me. It's always going to be too much board for me. This is not the board that I want to ride, but the conditions were optimal for me to see what would happen when I just decided to charge through some waist-deep snow, and it didn't falter. It plowed through everything underneath, got me up on top. It's just too stiff. What's nice about it in powder, though, is that rocker in the tail really does take over. It lets that nose rise up where that 3D shaping up there comes into play, and it funnels that snow out. It's great for that. Don't get me wrong. But for me at 200 pounds, this is too much board for me. I know that, and this is the 56. It's just too much board for me. I'd rather have ridden the regular hovercraft, but these are the days of my life. Is it a bad board? No. Is it a great board? For the right person, it's probably absolutely phenomenal. And as I said, it's just not for me, but it was such a fun board to ride in those conditions. Comparable boards, the Borealis Dark Koi, the Ride Mountain Pig, the K2 Excavator. Binding recommendations, the Jones Apollo, the Rome Cleaver, the Burton Cartel X. This has been my review of the Jones Ultracraft. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe. Click the bell. Get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really want to support us and just help us grow out further than where we already are, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.